turned on.
It is.
Oh, it's not.
Sounds on.
Try it again.
Okay.
Try it again.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that.
Maybe.
So we can figure this out. If
No.
not, I can speak really loud.
You can speak loud.
All right, here we go.
It's not
So-
working.
Projection was going on there.
I don't know.
All right, you guys. I thought what I'd do tonight is just kind of talk to you guys a little bit, is just kind of tell you a story about somebody that I kind of felt like fits the idea of diamond in the rough. Okay, I'll kind of give you all a little bit of a history about that and kind of look at the scriptures just for a few minutes and kind of tie that all back in. So be patient with me, okay? This couple right here, I don't know if you can see it very well in the picture or not. This couple is a really, really special couple. The guy's name is Seretse Kana, and he is the king of Botswana. And that lady right next to him is his wife, Ruth. Okay? Now here's what's really special about these two. Seretse was a king to be. His dad was the king at the time of Botswana. He was in the most powerful tribe in Botswana that kind of controlled that country. Well, Botswana, this is in 1940s, in the late 40s after World War II was over with. Botswana was a subset of Great Britain. And he was going to become king. And because he was going to become king through the war and everything else, his parents sent him up to London to learn to be educated so he could be a good king and run his country under Great Britain's power the right way. In the midst of doing that, in 1947, he gets invited to go to a dance. Kind of sound familiar, right? Some of y'all have been invited to that before, right? So he goes and he meets this lady who's a clerk by the name of Ruth. As soon as he sees Ruth, he falls madly and deeply in love with her. She doesn't do the same. She's kind of like, hey, he's all right, I guess. But he starts pursuing Ruth. And after a while, they kind of get some friends talking to each other, and they start dating. Now, you have to think about this. This is in 1948. Even though it's not in the United States, there's still a lot of racial divide throughout the entire world at that time. But he sees Ruth, and she's awesome. She likes him. He likes her. They're in London. And he decides he wants to marry her. Kind of a big deal. So he asked her to marry her. And in 1948, they get ready to get married. The only problem is that he's in Botswana. Let me show you where that's at. That's in the lower portion of Africa. Okay? There's some other parts of Africa up and a little bit further up to the west called South Africa. And that country is predominantly white. And they did not want to have a mixed couple getting married. And South Africa had all the money as far as Africa was going, and a lot of power. And so what they decided to do was make it very difficult for these two to get married. As a matter of fact, they said that they would start revolting against Britain if these two got married. But they didn't care. They were in love. And they got married. But she wasn't allowed to come back to Botswana. See, Botswana is kind of a really neat place. At the time, in 1948, it was one of the 10 poorest countries in the world. Botswana looks a lot like this in the non-rainy season. Very desolate, very isolated. For a month or two, it rains and it looks really awesome. There's elephants and giraffes, and it's really kind of cool. But most of the year kind of looks like that. But there's one really cool thing about Botswana. It's this. They have the best diamond mines in the world. Those are what come out of Botswana. But in 1948, they didn't know that. In 1948, they were still one of the poorest countries in the world, and they had nothing. The tribes were very backwards in what we think of today. They lived in huts. They didn't do things the normal way that we would think of it like normal people would be, anything we could even comprehend lifestyle-wise. And there was a select few, like Seretse, that got to have an education and got to do some things. So Seretse wanted to bring his bride back to his home country and live where he was supposed to be king. But he couldn't take her back Because down in Africa, they would not allow her to come to his country. So he went back down to Botswana to petition them to let him bring his wife back to live in his country. And as he petitioned them, he had a revolt against by his own uncle, who was the next in line to become king if he didn't take it. And they started a revolt against Seretse. And thousands of his people came together at one time to have, like, in essence, a trial on if he could bring Ruth back. And as he talked to his people, he said, "Who stands with me?" And almost everyone there stood up with Seretse, and they got to bring Ruth back. So in 1949, after they'd been married a year, he had not even seen his wife in a year, she got to go down to Botswana. And as she went down there, he was so excited, and they were starting a life together. But she was so different than all the other ladies and all the people there. So she had a hard time fitting in because she was so different. But she tried really hard. And in 1951, it became very apparent that they were going to continually get blowback from them being married. So Seretse went back up to London, and he was going to see the Queen and petition her to let their marriage be sacred so that he could become king and stop the feuding in Botswana. He is now officially the king of Botswana. And he leaves his wife there because he knows that if Ruth ever leaves that location, she will never be allowed back in the country. So he leaves and he goes back to London. And when he goes back to London, they ban him from his own country. They ban him from his wife. He banned him from his country. And in the midst of that, he finds out that his wife is pregnant. And she's going to have his baby. And he has a minimum 5-year ban from going home. So for years, he petitions the people in England to give him the right to go back home. Just let me go back home. And they refuse. And they refuse because they don't want to accept this marriage and what's going on. In the meantime, he gets a weekend kind of thing to go back and work out things with his uncle, who was feuding with Britain. And when he does, he spends some more time with his wife. He sees his first kid. She gets pregnant again. And he has to go back. And he finally is allowed to go back if he can bring all the tribes together, and there's no more feuding. What happens while he's in London, though, is amazing. Because he runs across some people that don't think it's fair that he's being treated like this. And some of the people that found out about this let him know the little secret that England knows that the people of Botswana don't. See, England has been going through and testing sites in Botswana, and they know that there's diamonds in Botswana. But their own people don't know. And so when he finds out, he goes back when they allow him to go back. And once he gets back, he sets up an independent government. And he decides no longer to be king, but he talks to the people and says, let me run for office, and you choose who you want as your king. And they do. And they choose him. And after he's been chosen, he reveals to England that he knows that there are diamonds in this rock place. See, he starts letting them know what's going on. He starts letting them see that he's smarter than what they thought he was. So he and his wife have his boys, and all of a sudden this poor, desolate country becomes one of the richest countries in Africa. This picture I'm showing you right now is a picture at his death. This is his funeral. 20-some-odd thousand people came to his funeral. They saw value in Ruth, and they saw some value in Seretse. Now what's really cool is, see the little kid there with the tie sitting next to the car? He is the actual king or president of Botswana right now. And he runs that country just like his dad. Now, Why do we say this entire story? Here's the reason why. When no one else saw value in his country, he did. When no one else saw value in him having a relationship with Ruth, he did. When no one ever thought it was worth having, he did. Because he could see something that other people don't see. And he learned to love something and appreciate something in his own country because he knew how hard he was going to have to fight for that. Look at me what it says in James 1, 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may mature and complete, not lacking in anything. Sounds like a lot of big words, right? Here's what he's saying. Times are going to be really tough. As a Christian, we're not going to like you about it. It's going to be tough. There's going to be tough moments for you when you go to school. There's going to be tough moments for you when you have to make hard decisions on who your friends are going to be. There's going to be incredibly tough moments for you on what kind of activities you're going to do outside of school. Because you know that there's going to be certain things going on that you're going to have to make a hard choice on. And it's just like a diamond. It has to be pressed and pushed and molded and worked on, and that's you. And that's me. See, if we don't go through trials and hardships, we don't become what we're supposed to become. And that's what James is saying to us. Get happy about it. Consider it a blessing. Consider it a good thing that you're going to have to go through some hardships. Consider it really, really cool that people are going to look at you sometimes and go, "Oh, you're a Christian, right?" Yeah. That's a badge of honor, baby. That's good stuff. Oh, you're the guy that doesn't do that. That's right. Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of all different kinds. When you go to school and you have some things that teachers are teaching you that you know do not go with what you believe. And you have to decide for yourself what you're going to do. Got a really good friend of mine who's a kid in my youth group. A few years back, his name is Trevor. Trevor, straight A student. His senior year, has to write a paper, and he doesn't believe in what the teacher's telling him he has to write about evolution. Trevor doesn't balk the system. He writes according to what you say. This is what he kind of writes it in such a way that this is not what I believe, but this is what you're wanting me to say. Here you have it. And it red flags the teachers in the schools. Oh, we've got one of those guys. Trevor also worked with those Christian athletes. And he had an advanced calculus class that had mandatory study sessions before school on Thursday. But Thursday was the day that he did SCA. So he explained to his teacher, "I know that you want me there for those, and I will come in after school. I'll do whatever it takes, but I can't miss this Bible study with my other athletes." And the teacher said, "Then I guess you better plan on not making straight A's anymore, because I will not give you an A in this class. I don't care what you score on your test." Valedictorian, holding on to his faith. What would you do? What do you do when you're pressed so hard, and at the moment all you can feel is that your life is going to collapse if you get pushed any further, and it's about your faith? It would have been so much easier for Trevor to just say, "You know what, I'll show up to the pretest. I got my A's. God will understand." It's not what Trevor did. Trevor said, "I'm sorry you feel that way, and I'll still be here every time that I can, and I'll be late Consider that great joy that you are considered so much that you would be put into that trial. Satan has no need to push you if your faith is weak. Consider pure joy at the opportunity when you have those. Because what happens, according to Scripture, is that when you live through that, your strength gets so much stronger. Your Christianity becomes so much more real. That the next time something like happens, it's not that big of a deal. Here's my question for you. Where do you find your value? Where do you find your value? Is it when you wear that jersey that has your favorite number on it? Is it by the shoes that you wear? The club that you're in? The car that you drive? The parents that you have? The school that you go to? Where do you find your value? Because those things are fleeting. Those things don't mean anything. But what I want you to understand is that God sees you not as those things, but this incredible diamond. This just got some rough edges. It's in the rough. It's just got to be cleaned up a little bit. It's got to be polished and moved, but it's going to be awesome. And God sees you as a beautiful diamond when you see yourself only as like lump of coal. Anybody watch the YouTube right now? The little thing that's kind of going on where you take a piece of coal, stick it in the peanut butter, and turn it into a diamond? You know that's not real, right? Some of you are like, what? It's totally fake. It does not work. Not that I wrote a bunch of peanut butter for this. Not really have. But it doesn't work that way. See, we can't get it to a diamond from something like that with just a little bit of ice and a little bit of heat. It takes being pressed. It takes being pushed. It takes going through hardships to become this incredible diamond. And you are that diamond. What I'm asking you is, can you find your value not in the things that you have, but in who you are? Because that's where your